Ladies and gentlemen, Manitoba second factor for the town fair, Austin, Manitoba. One end of the
Here he comes, Tom Phillips, and around Blue Road. you have come to see, and you will witness one of the most phenomenal events in the world. We're going to see power unleashed here this afternoon. Here he comes. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Manitoba Truck and Tractor Pulling Association. Oh, yeah, 6,000 horsepower backing her in, ready for the hook. Ladies and gentlemen, what a power demonstration. Whoa! Did he blow the doors off her today? And he's going to be back. He will be back in our open modified tractor division here this afternoon. What a pull. Ladies and gentlemen, he's just taken his helmet off. I want a big round of applause. 6,000 horsepower. Whoa! Billy, you had her wound up and churning this afternoon. We're going to get our track back into original condition as we get set for our stock antiques. The stock antique tractors you see here, these have been modified, but it's a stock engine on them. Tractors that were probably 45 horsepower in the field would be doubled to about 85 or 90 horsepower. We have got 12 entrants in this class. Now on the skid, as we see it back up in front of our grandstand area, we have our skid. Now it is operated, the Judge is the vehicle's name. It's got a 350 Chevy Power Glide automatic transmission. It's home built. That skid, the weight skid right there, has been right across Canada. It's been down in Toronto in the Sky Dome. It's been to Vancouver, to the Agriplex there. It's been in Calgary, Edmonton, all over the world, down in the United States as well. We have Bruce McCausland, our driver from Boissevain, Manitoba. He's a mechanic and farmer. He is driving the Judge today. Weighs about 40,000 pounds. Its sponsors are Quaker State Motor Oil. As we get set for our first puller. Now this is Keith Jager, Jager's Auto Body, right here in Austin, Manitoba. Runs a body shop and a farm. We have got a stock antique, 1948 International Farmall AM. Engine is stock, sponsor is Jager's Auto Body, our first puller of the afternoon.
Somebody said this was a modified class down there. This is
Stock class. Stock class. We are watching our stock antiques. As they move in, we've got 12 of these stock antiques ready to go. Skid is set. They are going to be measured with the laser system. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on the very first pull of each of our class, the judges have the option of giving a re-pull if they so desire, because they have to set the weight according to the ground conditions. Especially on our first pull of the afternoon, there probably will be some adjustment made. We're going to find out for sure if there will be a re-pull for Keith Jager of Jager's Auto Body, Austin, Manitoba. He is hooked. And we have the pull. Trying to keep from slipping, trying to keep from spinning. And doing a super job. You can see the weight. And I think we have our first pull of the afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How about a big Austin round of applause to Keith Jager? Our stock antique, 1948 International Farmall AM. And the pull's begun for West Tolton. Trying to stay on fresh ground. Keep from slipping. A heavy pull, West Tolton, Oak Lake, Manitoba, with his John Deere 50 of 1953. Has he gone past that 68-foot mark? I think he has. Trying to keep things working smoothly. Antique, stock class, stock antique class in our Puller doing a great job. Ooh, and just spins out. How about a big round of applause for Wes Tolton? We're going to have a measurement on that run in just a moment. Wes Tolton, tractor puller from Oak Lake, Manitoba. We've got a new leader by just over 2 feet. 17.05 is the pull for our puller, Wes Tolton. The name of her unit is the 1945 Massey Harris stock antique, a 45 Massey Harris Super 102. The engine is the 226 in it, develops 37 horsepower here in our antique stock class, stock antiques. Backed in and set for the pull. Here comes Val Siemens, Massey Harris of 1945. That's when World War II ended. And Val wants to get that even pull. She has started the pull. It's not too far gone. And a nice even pull, going past the 60-foot mark. This is where they seem to hit some soft ground. I'm going to see if Val can do it. Ooh, trying hard, but that's it. The flag is down. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice round of applause for one of our lady pullers, Val Siemens, Plum Cooley. Size of the wheels will make a difference. These are all stock antiques, 1948. Pulling on the skid, we're going to see the big modifieds on and our trucks on, minis on as well a little bit later on. Trying to outpull the lady puller from Plum Cooley, Manitoba, Val Siemens, 71.81. He's off and pulling. Nice even pull. Now the track is reconditioned after each pull, but obviously it's going to be a little bit softer than it was at the start. And the flag is down. That will be the pull. And our first puller of class number 2, our 6,000-pound antique class, Leonard Kettler, Winkler, Manitoba, getting ready for his pull with his 1947 John Deere G. They take weight from wherever they can get it, keep the power in line.
Yes?
Yeah, this is the beginning of the modified ones, eh?
Yes?
Okay.
So these ones can be modified?
Yeah.
Now these tractors, here's our first pull of the modified antique, 6,000 pounds. Boy, getting a nice pull. See the extra power right here. This is Leonard Kettler, Winkler, Manitoba. Woo! Going for every 1/10 of an inch. The flag is down. That will be the pull. Ladies and gentlemen, Leonard Kettler. And he throws the power to the big John Deere. Trying for every inch he can get. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what you call getting down and getting dirty. Staying right in there, showing his driver ability, holding a very smooth line. He's actually picking up speed right now. He's got it figured. Leonard Kettler from Winkler. Oh, there it is. The flag is down. Ladies and gentlemen, tremendous job of driving by Leonard Kettler of Winkler, Manitoba. Well done, Leonard. Well done. Once again, the John Deere G will be called upon with the skidding conditions. And he is gone. Much better speed right off the front for Leonard Kettler. Light on the front end. And this will not be as far a pull for Leonard Kettler. Getting a nice pull this time, Leonard Kettler from Winkler, Manitoba. Moving awfully close to the fence, Leonard Kettler trying to get up on the hard ground. That's what he's looking for. What's the flagman's name?
I
Don't know. Boy, I'll tell you what, if he keeps this up, he may have a full pull. The weight is moving. And I believe flag is down. That will be the pull for Leonard Kettler, and he's happy with this one. There's no doubt about that. You bet. How about a big round of applause? He can hear you now. That's Leonard Kettler. This will be the official pull for Leonard Kettler here in our 6,000-pound class of antique modifieds. 175.86. 175.86 is the official pull for Leonard Kettler. We watch Bill Lawrence, the president of the Manitoba Truck and Tractor Pulling Association, getting set for his pull, trying to outpull Leonard Kettler at 175.86.
I don't always catch the name. I'm in trouble.
Okay.
Bill Lawrence, he is hooked. 175.86 is the distance to beat. Here this afternoon in our Manitoba Truck and Tractor Pulling Contest, Austin, Manitoba. Front end of the LA coming off. 6,000-pound modified class. You notice the different tire treads and things used by our pullers. Looking for distance, always looking for distance. Trying to beat weight. Different combinations here on different surfaces as they pull all over Manitoba and Western Canada and the northern part of the United States. Bill Lawrence, Melita, Manitoba. Getting a nice pull. We're up to about 150 now. 160. Going to have a nice pull here. One of the great pullers from Manitoba, Melita, Manitoba, Bill Lawrence, our president. Ooh, it's going to be close. There's the flag. That will be the pull for Bill Lawrence. 180.01, a new leader. Bill Lawrence of Melita, Manitoba. 180.01 for Bill Lawrence. Bill Lawrence, our president, he's going to be back in several divisions here this afternoon. Cockshed 50 Deluxe, 6,000-pound antique modified class. Even pull, very sandy conditions, very soft surface, even when it's packed. Pullers later on in the classes, they definitely will notice surface deteriorating as we take it back as near to perfect as we possibly can. Bob Pinkerton is shifting into gear. He has made the hook. 180.01. He is pulling. You can hear the modification. Doesn't sound like any Cockshed 50 I ever heard. Bob Pinkerton trying to keep that even keel, front end down. As the judge, the weight starts to shift on the skid. Bob having some problems. Still moving. Bob Pinkerton, rolling Manitoba, 13-year puller here in our modified antiques. Flagman is there. And there's the pull. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice round of applause for Bob Pinkerton, rolling Manitoba, here in our Manitoba Agricultural Museum sponsored. This is a 6-cylinder engine, develops 40 horsepower. Sales and service man, sponsored Ray Colbert. Sales and service out of Lockport, Manitoba. Ray Colbert, our puller. He's made the hook. Distance to beat is a 180.01, put in by Bill Lawrence. And the pull is started. Got a nice even pull to start the skid moving down the line. The judge will judge each and every one of them. Getting a beautiful pull. Beautiful traction. He has selected the right gear. This is Ray Colbert. And as Ray moves down to about the 100, I'm halfway down our entire 300. The flag is up. We're going to go to Wendy McCausland, our laser lady. 128 feet even. He's got a Cockshed 40, 6,000-pound modified antique class. 1940 to 1950. 6-cylinder engines, got the Buddha. This is a 40 horsepower tractor. His sponsor is Argyle Transfer Limited. Other occupation, he is a livestock hauler. Stonewall, Manitoba driver, Wally Finnbogason. Skid is in place. Wally Finnbogason, Stonewall, Manitoba, 1950, Cockshet 40, is hooked. The longest pull is a 180.01. Bill Lawrence, Lida, Manitoba. He is in the lead with a 180.01. We'll see how Wally Finnbogason makes out as he starts his pull. Yes. He guides the skid along, Bruce McCausland. He is our skid operator, rides along for the ride as far as Wally Finnbogason will pull. The modified tractor division of our 6,000 pound antique class. Wally's got a nice line, beautiful traction here, but as the weight moves forward, traction becomes greater. Of course, friction on the skid becomes greater. Moving along nicely. This is where problems have started for some of our antique pullers in our previous pulls. Moving along, looks like everything is all right to this point. Keeping his RPMs down could be the trick here as he tries to get over what is undoubtedly getting to be a soft spot on our track. Wally Finnbogason, can you get past that point? He's got a good pull, getting very close to Bill Lawrence's distance. He's only got to be within about 10 feet of that distance. Inching along, flagman is watching closely now. Posse traction taking effect. There's the flag. That will be the pull for Wally Finnbogason of Stonewall, Manitoba. As he unhooks, the laser lady, Wendy McCausland, goes to work, picking up a reading off the back of the judge. And our distance for Wally Finnbogason,
74.11, 174.11.
174.11 for Wally. It's going to put him into third place. 174.11. 6 feet short of Bill Lawrence's pull. We go to Norman Gagnon. Norman Gagnon from St. Alphonse, Manitoba. He's a farmer by occupation, but his true love is pulling. He's got a John Deere 1938 G, modified 6,000 pound antique class. John Deere engine, it develops 58 horsepower. He has the big spindle spoke wheels of 1938 row crop model of the John Deere G. Backs into the skid. The judge waits patiently for each and every one of our hookers to get hooked here in the pulling competition of our 6,000 pound modified class. Val Siemens with 171.81 with the stock antiques. We're into the modified 6,000 pound class of antique right now. Norman Gagnon having some problems there, keeping the front end down on the G. Got her working now. Floating along. Good speed. He is moving down the track. Speed, however, increases the quickness. The gear rig so that brings the weight ahead on the skid. We're watching Norman Gagnon from St. Alphonse, Manitoba. Getting to that soft spot. Tries for every inch, but the flag is down. That will be the pull for Norman Gagnon of St. Alphonse, Manitoba. Our John Deere G, 1938 model, 6,000 pound modified antique class. And Wendy McCausland gives us our distance.
Distance for that pull, 155.74,
155.74. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice round of applause for Norman Gagnon from St. Alphonse, Manitoba. Right now, Alan Brown. He owns the skid, is that right? This is the man that owns the skid, known as the Judge. Alan Brown of Burton, Manitoba. He is a machinist. Now he is pulling with a Massey Harris 55 diesel, 6,000 pound antique modified class, 1953. Alan Brown, there's a man that knows the tricks. This man does. Fantastic puller from Burton, Manitoba. Alan Brown is hooked. Mark to beat is a 180.01 here in our modified 6,000 pound class of antiques. He is pulling, starts off slowly, keeping his RPMs low, traction good. He moves down the track. Bill Lawrence holding on to the early lead with a 108.01. Nice even pull for Alan Brown of Burton, Manitoba. Going the distance up to about 145. The track seems very consistent. Then right about here is where the weight has moved and our track gets just a little bit soft. It looks like our puller Alan Brown's got it figured out because he's gone way up and past. Like man is there, this is where the skid really starts moving. Ooh, we're going to be close to a new leader here. There's the flag, ladies and gentlemen, Alan Brown, Burton, Manitoba. We're going to Wendy McCausland, our laser lady. She's taking the reading off the back of the judge. And her arm is in the air. That means she has the laser reading. As she records it, she'll go to the walkie-talkie and relay it. We will relay it to you. Alan Brown of Burton, Manitoba's pull for our 6,000-pound modified class. 193.15, and we've got a new leader. 193.15 for Alan Brown of Burton, Manitoba. Alan Brown takes the lead here in our modified 6,000-pound class. What does he go by? Earl Phillips is going to be our next competitor. He's from Roland, Manitoba. He's got a 6,000-pound modified antique. This is a 101 Super Massey. Engine is the 265. He backs it in. Earl Phillips from Roland, Manitoba. His occupation is a farmer. As all these men that are pulling in their truck and tractor divisions, their true love is pulling. Earl Phillips trying to beat a distance of 193.15 here in our 6,000-pound antique modified class. Antique pullers out in full force here this afternoon in Austin, Manitoba. Pullers of the Truck and Tractor Pulling Association of Manitoba would like to thank the Manitoba Agricultural Museum, Threshermen's Reunion, along with our AGCO Alice dealerships of southern Manitoba. Here he is, Earl Phillips, wound up the 101 Super Massey. Smoothly running. You can see the weight underneath there. To adjust the weight, they strip the tractor down to way under 6,000 pounds. Then to get it up to the 6,000, they add the weight where they feel necessary to run on the track conditions that they're on. Art Phillips looks like he's got a great pull here this afternoon. This is where it gets dicey, right in front of the center part of our grandstand. Ooh, and Art is found a problem spot. There's no doubt about that. And our flag is up. That will be the pull for Art Phillips of Roland, Manitoba. Ladies and gentlemen, you bet. Pay off our puller from Roland, Manitoba, Art Phillips with his 101 Massey. Earl, excuse me. Earl Phillips. And we have Wendy McCausland, our laser lady, going to give us Earl's distance. As it is recorded, Earl Phillips, distance will be 175.81. 175.81 will put him into fourth hole by just a smidgen right there. We had a 175.86, 175.81. 5/10 of an inch is all that he's in fourth hole as it stands right now. Good pull for Earl Phillips of Roland, Manitoba. We move down. Grant Kremer. He is from Petersfield, Manitoba. Self-employed operator. He's got a 1938 John Deere D 6,000-pound antique modified class. The distance to out full is Alan Brown of Burton, Manitoba. Alan Brown, Burton, Manitoba, pulled 193 feet, 0.15. As our John Deere D backs in, 1938 model. Huge pulling traction tires on the back. Shorter coupled tractor. Some of our previous antiques. We'll see how he makes out on our track here this afternoon. This is Grant Kremer, Petersfield, Manitoba. And Grant has started his pull. The Petersfield, Manitoba puller, Grant Kremer. John Deere D of 1938. Getting awfully close to the fence, and he has decided to shut it down. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice round of applause for Grant Kremer? Steering did play a big factor in the distance that he pulled. We're going to go to our laser lady. Get the pull in just a moment. Wendy McCausland, laser lady says. Trying to get the distance here, lined up a little different angle. And we have a reading. Grant Kremer, Petersfield.
81.32.
81.32, and I know that is a disappointing pull for Grant Kremer. Grant Kremer, 81.32. Now Keith Gagnon of St. Alphonse, Manitoba. This is Keith Gagnon. Occupation, he is a schoolboy. He's 11 years old. I think that would put him in about grade 5 or 6, probably grade 6. John Deere G. This is a 6,000-pound modified antique class, 1941 model. The young fella from St. Alphonse, Manitoba, getting into the pulling game early. Boy, I'd like to see him pull about 194 here this afternoon. We got a 193.15. Want everybody in Austin, Manitoba to cheer this young man on. 11-year-old Keith Gagnon from St. Alphonse, Manitoba, here in our 6,000-pound modified class, driving a John Deere G of 1941. Backs into the skid. Same rules. Bruce McCausland, our skid operator, sets the skid identically for each and every puller in each and every class. And looks like Keith Gagnon's about ready to go. Hook has been made. 193.15. Alan Brown is the mark to beat. Making sure that he's lined up on the track. Big day. 11-year-old. Elementary school student Keith Gagnon from St. Alphonse, Manitoba. John Deere G of 1941. This is a modified class, 6,000 pounds or under. And it looks like we're about ready to go. Woo. And what will that be? Will he give him another chance? No, yes, no. So that means another chance or what? No pull, he said. Now that is a no pull for Keith Gagnon.
His weights fell off.
So his weights have come off the tractor. He is disqualified. I'll tell you what, that is heartbreaking. How about a nice round of applause for Keith Gagnon, 11-year-old. He's going to be back. He's got all kinds of years ahead of him to be pulling and tractor pullings all over the world. Keith Gagnon, a no pull. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of our modified 6,000-pound class of modified antiques is Alan Brown of Burton, Manitoba with a 193.15. How about a big round of applause for Alan Brown?
They're not antiques, they're just...
Ladies and gentlemen, you have waited and we have arrived. We're in the 6,000-pound modified division. Limited modified division, 6,000-pound class. Kenny McMillan is just making his way over to the skid. He's from Hamiota, Manitoba. He's a mechanic, and his unit is a ground pounder. 6,000 limited modified class. Make of it is a 44 Massey rear end. The rest is home built. 462 cubic inch Chevy. Develops 700 horsepower. Turbo 400 driveline. His sponsor is Mac Tools and Esso Broma. We're going to watch Kenny McMillan. Our flagman down in the field there, that's Dave Miller, Winkler, Manitoba. He's got a custom engine shop over there. He's built many of the engines we see pulling here this afternoon. He takes care of flagging them. He gives them the green flag when the track is ready. The red flag comes down when the pull has been made. This is Kenny McMillan, Hamiota, Manitoba, the ground pounder, about ready to start his pull. Hook has been made. Watch Kenny McMillan slide it ahead. Limited modified, 6,000 pound class. 700 horsepower. He's going to give it all to us from his 462 Chevy. Pull for Kenny McMillan. What a pull for the Hamiota, Manitoba puller, Kenny McMillan, with a ground pounder, 700 horsepower, driveline, the Turbo 400. We're going to get a ruling from our track officials here momentarily. Remember the first pull, they do make adjustments on the skid. 319 feet, .42. I think it's 4.2, was it? 319.42 was the pull for Kenny McMillan. And I believe it will stand as our full pull here, the start of our limited modified 6,000 pound class. Ladies and gentlemen, our next puller is Tom Phillips from Morris, Manitoba. His occupation is a truck driver, but what he loves to do is drive the Ramblin' Rose. 6,000 pound limited modified class, home built. Chrysler 440 horsepower, and what he's written down here is not enough. He wants more. Home built driveline. He's got the Crown Slipler clutch in it. And it is sponsored is West End Auto Body from Morris, Manitoba. We are watching Tom Phillips, Morris puller on the Ramblin' Rose. The distance to beat put in by Kenny McMillan on the ground pounder is 319.42. Tom Phillips backs in. He's the man that weighed all our tractors this morning, making sure that the weight classes were met. Here he comes, Tom Phillips and the Ramblin' Rose. There's the pull for the Ramblin' Rose, Tom Phillips, the 440 Chrysler. As we go to Wendy McCausland, our laser lady, taking a reading on Tom Phillips's pull. Remember, 319.42 is the distance pulled by Kenny McMillan. Her hand is in the air. It has been recorded. 277.93. 277.93. Tom Phillips. Don Duffner, he's going to be our next puller to go. He is from Burton, North Dakota. We've got an American puller up here in our limited modified 6,000 pound class. There's a 1947 model, limited modified 6,000 pound class. He's got a 428 Ford. Horsepower about 500. The driveline is a Model D, rear end in it. He's been pulling for 31 years. He farms over 2,000 acres with the help of his two sons. Use all two-cylinder John Deeres to do their farm work. They are John Deere people. Don Duffner, the distance to outpull Kenny McMillan would be about 320 feet. Can you do it? We're going to find out if North Dakota came to win our 6,000 pound limited modified class. I'm sure he did. Long ways from Burton, North Dakota. He's hooked. Don Duffner and the Green Goat. Here's the pull for the Green Goat and Don Duffner, Burton, North Dakota. We're going to find out how the 428 Ford fared as our laser lady, Wendy McOsler, takes the reading off the back of the judge skid from Burton, Manitoba, Alan Brown. We've got a reading. We'll have the distance for the Green Goat and Don Duffner.
234.12.
234.12. One of the hot shots, Ward Drake from Kenton, Manitoba. Backs her in, 319.42 is the distance we are looking to beat. The man that catches Kenny McMillan, a ground pounder, our very first puller in our limited modified division. Came up with a full pull, went past the 300-foot mark to 319.42. Here's Ward Drake and a wild one. Flag is up. There's the pole. Ladies and gentlemen, he can hear you right now. How about a nice round of applause for Ward Drake and a wild one from Kenton, Manitoba. We're going to go to our laser lady, Wendy McOsler. We're going to have that reading. We'll see where Ward is placing. Her arm is up. We are getting a recording on Ward Drake's pull here in our modified limited 6,000.
239.26.
239.26. 239.26. That's going to put him into third. As we move to our next puller, we'd like to thank Agco Allen dealerships in Brandon and right across southern Manitoba for their great sponsorship. Central Plains Agro out of Brandon, Manitoba, the Manitoba Agricultural Museum. Jimmy Shaw from Stonewall, Manitoba, our next puller here in the limited modified 6,000-pound class. He's an industrial mechanic. The unit is the Farm Boss. 1950 Massey 44 rear end, a 67 Chrysler 383. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this engine has got a Chrysler 727 automatic driveline in it. Develops about 450 to well over 500 horsepower. There are no radiators on these units. They either run them dry or just with fluid actually in the engine. That little tank on this one has the engine fluid in it. They only run for about 3 minutes at a time. From the time they start up to the time they back in, they pull and stop again. Jimmy Shaw, Stonewall, and the Farm Boss. We're looking for 320. 319.42, Kenny McMillan. And a ground pounder. He is the man to catch right now. Back it in, Jim Shaw, Stonewall, Manitoba, industrial mechanic. Limited modified 6,000-pound division. 383 Chrysler motor. Develops 500 horsepower. Chrysler 727 automatic transmission in a drive line. As we get set for the pull, this is Jimmy Shaw. Okay, Farm Boss, time has come. Jimmy Shaw on his pull. We saw a little different strategy there. Ladies and gentlemen, how about paying our puller off? That's Jimmy Shaw and the Farm Boss. Wendy McMillan, the laser lady. $239.72, is that correct?
239.17.
239.17. 239.17 is the pull. That is going to put him just behind our puller with 239.26. Man, we've got some great pulls here, but our first puller, Kenny McMillan, the ground pounder, still holds the lead with a full pull and over. Our next puller in the limited modified class is going to be Jim Nickel. Jim Nickel from Darlingford, Manitoba, truck driver, owner-operator, and he has got the Tugger, the GT Tugger. Built in 1979, it's got a 440 Dodge motor in it, 650 horsepower. He's sponsored by Manitou Auto Body. We're watching Jimmy Nickel get backed in and hooked. The Tugger is about ready to tug a full pull this afternoon. Will Jimmy Nickel do it? We're going to watch right now as he gets set for his pull in our limited 6,000-pound class, limited modified. Built in 1979. Watch the Tugger, because here he comes. They're going to slide away. Everything is set to go. Jim Nickel, are you ready? We've got a green flag. He's off. What a pull! How about a round of applause for Jim Nickel and the JT Tugger? 440 Dodge, 650 horsepower. We're going to go to Wendy McCausland. She's already got the distance calibrated.
165.15, 265.15.
265.15. That's going to put our puller, the TJ Tugger, into third. 265.15, the distance for our puller, Jim Nickel, on the JT Tugger. Ladies and gentlemen, do you enjoy our 6,000-pound modified, limited modified class? Our winner, Kenny McMillan, and a ground pounder with a pull of 319.42. Great pull, great pulling action. We're going to move in to mini modified 1,800 pounds. Most of these in around that 1,800-pound mark. These are the tiny little minis. Now we've got our special skid for our mini modifieds. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these little mini modifieds, they are small, but they develop horsepower unbelievable. It is like sitting with an 800-pound horsepower engine between your legs. You watch the front end of these little minis as they come down the track. The torque will actually twist those front wheels, and most of the time in the air floating, and it is wild. This is a wild class, our mini modified class. Our first puller, how do you say his last name? Keene? Harold Keene from Steinbach, Manitoba. He's a machine shop owner. Now, if you want to talk about a machinist building a machine, the mini modified fits the bill. The name of this unit is the Blacksmith, one of our mini modifieds here this afternoon. Weighs 1,800 pounds. The class it is entered is a mini modified 1,800 pounds or less. Make of it was built in 1983, and it is home built by the blacksmith himself, Harold Keene. Small block Chevy, supercharged with methanol. Horsepower develops up to 800 horsepower. Drive line. Is that Crower? Crower slipper clutch with a Lenco transmission. It sponsors the Blacksmith are Steinbach, Precision Enterprises, and Quaker State Oil. We have got 800 or 18.4, 6.1 Firestone Fuller tires, special tires. Now this pull down in Louisville, Kentucky in 1984, and many other locations throughout Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and the northern part of the United States. He's pulled in Louisville, but he hasn't pulled in Austin, Manitoba yet. We're going to watch him set the pace. Howard Keene, Steinbach, Manitoba, and the Blacksmith. Hooked to our sled. Same laser used for the distances. Here he comes. Absolutely wild. What a pull for Howard Keene. Ladies and gentlemen, he can hear you now. How about a big round of applause for the first one of our mini modified 1,800-pound class. Harold Keene. He is out of his machine right now. The man that built it drives the blacksmith, Harold Keene. We're going to have a ruling on it from our track officials, whether that will be an official pull for Harold or not. They'll decide whether he had his opportunity. 226.57. 226.57 for Harold Keene of Steinbach, Manitoba. The blacksmith, mini modified, 1983 home built, small block Chevy, supercharged with methanol, 800 horsepower, and you saw him moving. How many feet? Now what happened, you saw Harold jump out of his machine. The reason for that, I've just been informed by the vice president of the Manitoba Truck and Tractors Association that he had a broken fuel line. He was worried about fire. He shut it down. It was obvious that he was still moving along nicely. Saw the fuel line was broken, shut it down, and jumped from the machine to be saved from a possible fire. Very heads-up move by one of our mini-modified drivers, Harold Keene. We have backing in right now. Is that the, what is the distance? 226.57 for Harold Keene will be his distance. We are going to move down right now to Ray Allen, Hamiota, Manitoba racer puller. We've got a mechanic here, and he has got Badass Blue, mini-modified, home-built, Ford 428. Driveline is the Ford C6. He's got 9-inch Ford rear end in it. We're going to watch right now as Badass Blue, Ray Allen from Hamiota, Manitoba, gets ready for his pull. Remember, 226.57. Harold Keene, he shut it down early. There's no doubt about that. Had a fuel line come off, saw it, said that is enough. I'm not taking any chances. Right now, Ray Allen, are you ready? Hamiota, Manitoba. Tractor truck pulling. The mini has started. We're going to get a green flag, and then he'll be pulling. Dave Miller is our flag man. He runs a precision engine shop in Winkler, Manitoba. Built many of the engines we see pulling here this afternoon. Hook has been made. This is Ray Allen, Badass Blue. Flag is green. He is pulling. Woo. Is he through the throttle? No, that'll be a restart. I believe he had some problems there with his engine, so I believe it will be a restart. They're going to have to reset our skid for our mini modifieds here. Ray Allen Wooding is set to go. The Badass Blue mini puller from Hamiota, Manitoba. We've got a green flag. And he's off. Red flag is up. The pull has been made. We're going to go to our laser lady for the distance. How about a big round of applause for Ray Allen, Badass Blue, our second mini modified, our little minis in here. We're going to have our distance. $195.02. 195.02 is going to put him into second place. We are going to move down right now to Richard Keene, Steinbach, Manitoba. His occupation is painting and decorating. He's a man with a pinstripe. He's got Mighty Mouse, little mini modified here, the 1,800 pounds or less class. Richard Keene, Steinbach, Manitoba. Home built in 1985. It's a big block Chevy, 462 cubic inch, supercharged and on methanol. Horsepower, 1,200 horsepower. He's got the Crower slipper clutch, Lenco transmission. Sponsors are Steinbeck Precision Enterprises and Quaker State Oil. He's got the 18.4, 16.1 puller tires on. Done a lot of pulling in Alberta and Saskatchewan over the years. We're going to watch one of the great pullers, Richard Keene from Steinbeck, Manitoba. As our track is put back into near perfect condition, as close as we can get it, we'd like to thank our Agco Alice dealership of southern Manitoba for bringing us the great equipment to float our track down. Bill Drake down there, one of our track officials, makes sure that everything is just so for each and every one of our pullers. We set up our mini. Richard Keene, Steinbeck, Manitoba, our second mini modified puller, or I should say our third mini modified puller of the afternoon, Mighty Mouse. 1,200 horsepower. Oh yeah. Backs it in. Richard Keene of Steinbeck, Manitoba. The Mighty Mouse, 1,200 horsepower from a 462 big block Chevy. We have a hook. We're going to get a green flag and we'll be rolling. There's the flag. Richard making sure they're firing on all 8 here. The big block Chevy, the 462, supercharged on methanol. 1,200 horsepower is what we're dealing with. As he tries to keep it straight, watch the front wheels of the front axle. You'll see the torque there. Lifting it up. Richard Keene. Oh yeah, what a pull. Mighty Mouse. What a pull for Richard Keene of Steinbeck, Manitoba, and the Mighty Mouse. 462 big block Chevy, 1,200 horsepower. As we get our reading. Laser Lady takes the reading. Wendy McCausland, she's the lady on the lamp, as it were. We're going to have our distance. 251.33, 251.33. We have got a new leader, 251.33, Mighty Mouse. Okay, now we got Harold Keene back again. This is on Mean and Keene. It's a different tractor, mini modified, 1,800-pound class, home built in 1986. Donovan all aluminum engine. Develops up to 1,800 horsepower. 1 horsepower for every pound of the machine. Phenomenal. 1,800 horsepower. Home built. Donovan all aluminum engine. He's going to give it all to us this afternoon, and I've got a hunch that Richard may be behind his brother Harold. We're going to find out right now as the mini modified fires up, moves into position on our skid. Richard holds the lead. Steinbeck, Manitoba on the Mighty Mouse. Come up with 1,200 horsepower. And remember, we got some extra horsepower. You've also got extra driving to take care of. If they were out on the road, these little mini modifieds, the speed that they are putting out here and the spinning of the tires and things like that, they'd be doing about 150 miles an hour. Really cooking, if you know what I mean. 1,800 horsepower. It takes a good man to hold on to him. It takes a brave man to pull. I'm gonna watch right now. Harold is firing up. Harold Keene, Steinbeck, Manitoba, machine shop operator, a man who knows how to build. Mean and Keene is the unit. 1,800-pound class, midi modified. 1986 is when this one was built. Developed between 1,500 and way up there to 1,800 horsepower. Look at the engine, man, raw power as the puller backs it in. Special pulling tires. These are our Firestone puller tires he uses here. Slides it back as they roll them back in there. Man, this is like hanging on to a 747. Lots of power here. Watch him. He's getting the hook. This is going to be the pull to remember this afternoon. Whether he can keep it straight and in line and beat the time or the distance of 2:51.33 remains to be seen, but don't take your eyes off of Mean and Keene. Yellow mini modified 1,800-pound division backed in. Ready for some fiery action, Austin, Manitoba? It's coming your way. All kinds of power. Don't forget, we've got that big Allison in our open modified division coming up. We saw an example there. Cover your ears. 1,800 horsepower is a lot of noise. We have our flagman, Dave Miller, ready to set as our hook has been made. I sign the green flag. This is Harold Keene, Mean and Keen. Whoa, what a pull! Mean and Keen, Harold Keene from Steinbach, Manitoba. Did you see those back traction tires? They just went right up like a drag strip car. What a pull. This is going to be very close. We're going to go to Wendy McCausland right now, our laser lady with the distance. Remember, 151.33 is in the lead. Laser measurement being taken. She puts her arm into the air. The skid can be moved, and we will have our official distance on Harold Keene and Mean and Keen. Her arm has been up. Distance will be
251.81.
ladies and gentlemen, 251.81. We've got a new leader, Mean and Keen. By under a foot, he has taken the lead. 251.81. Harold Keene, our puller from Steinbach, Manitoba, with Mean and Keen. What a pull for the modifieds. Ladies and gentlemen, have you enjoyed our mini modified class? Whoa, what is going on? Randy Robillard, is that your wife in there? You want to see a mini modified in the way of a golf cart? We've got that pull taking place right now. This is tremendous. You notice the extra ballast. They have the whole family on there. I don't believe it. It is a beautiful pull. Now this is where it gets tricky. Right in front of the grandstand, the soft spot. Will she be able to handle it? I would use a 9-iron. Well, maybe the pitching wedge is very soft in there. Does she get past this point? It's going to be close. Ooh, slowing right down. I think she may have, and Randy's going to give her a hand right there. That is a bad bat. Oh, and it's up on the front end. Could be trouble. There it is, the flag. We have a full pull for the modified golf cart division. How about a nice round of applause for Mrs. Robillard and the entire family riding on board. We are in a two-wheel drive truck class. Exciting? You bet. Now, Jim Carter. No, not Jimmy Carter of the peanut picking style. This is Jimmy Carter of Kenton, Manitoba. He is a puller, and he is the man with the desperado. He's got his guns loaded and ready to fire here in the two-wheel drive truck division. 1968 GMC with one of the most fantastic paint jobs you'll see in motorsports today. His engine, a 572 cubic inch Rodet, 2,000 horsepower. Homemade driveline, Rockwell, planetary rear end with a 4-disc Crowler clutch. His sponsor, Quaker State Oil. He's competed all over Western Canada and into the upper Midwest United States. One of the great pullers of all time, the vice president of the Manitoba Truck and Tractor Association. Brand new division, back on the Judge, the big skid. Bruce McCausland. Alan Brown owns the skid. Bruce McCausland is the man in the skid who sets our transmission. Jimmy Carter, Kenton, Manitoba, Desperado. Now, if you've watched tractor and truck pulling on television on cable, you most likely have seen Jimmy Carter. If not Jimmy Carter, you've seen a lot of the boys that he's pulled against down in the United States. We're going to watch Jimmy Carter at Kenton, Manitoba, and Desperado back it in. Jim Carter, are you ready? First one in our two-wheel drive truck class. This man developed 2,000 horsepower from a 527 cubic inch row deck engine. There it is. Very, very soft, sandy conditions here in Austin, Manitoba. They'll give him another one, probably.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Different tires for different ground, different treads each one of our pullers like. Wachczynski brothers from Winnipeg, Manitoba. This is Ed Wachczynski. He's the driver. His partner is Ken. They are the brothers. Brothers too, the pulling tractor and truck pullers of Manitoba. Wachczynski brothers, Ken Wachczynski, our driver. Back in Rambo win, two-wheel drive truck class, 78 Dodge, 427 Chevy, 1,000 horsepower. Backs into the hook. Watch Dave Miller, our flagman on the field, waiting to open up the 427. Here it comes. What a pull for Ed Wachczynski of Winnipeg, Manitoba with Rambo. 1,000 horses, a 427 Chevy block. We're going to have our official distance. Her arm is in the air. Wendy McCausland. The official distance on our first of the two-wheel truck class for Ed Wachczynski.
58.10. 258.10.
258.10. 258.10 for Wachczynski brothers of Winnipeg, Manitoba, and Rambo. Is Brian Prystinski from Grand Rapids, Manitoba. He's a Manitoba telephone system employer, and we have the Mid-Age Crazy. Middle-Age Crazy is what it is. It is a 6,200-pound two-wheel drive truck class, and we have a 1941 Fargo. They're going to fire it up. You can see it on the infield. Absolutely gorgeous. 500 cubic inch. Donovan Hemi. 258 feet, .10 is the mark to beat. Middle-Age Crazy. This is Brian Prystinski of Grand Rapids, Manitoba. 1,800 horsepower is what you're listening to, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get a little better tone on it with the 500 cubic in. Hemis cuts loose here, trying to beat a distance. Put in by Ed Wachczynski of Winnipeg with Rambo, 258.10. That is the mark to beat. The laser lady is all ready for the marking. Watch Dave Miller, Precision Engine Shop out of Winkler, Manitoba. He's our flagman. You'll see a green after the hook has been made. That way that the driver knows all is clear. Brian Prystinski, Grand Rapids, Manitoba. Middle-Age Crazy is the name of his truck, a two-wheel drive unit. Watch for the green flag. There it is. Brian Prystinski and Middle-Age Crazy. There's the red flag, we have our distance, as our laser lady will mark it. Ladies and gentlemen, he can hear you now. How about a big round of applause for middle-aged crazy Brian Prystinski. What a truck. 150.40, 150.40 is the distance for Brian Prystinski of Grand Rapids, Manitoba, and middle-aged crazy. Well, Jimmy Carter's coming back, the vice president of the Manitoba Truck and Tractor Association from Kenton, Manitoba. The farmer who loves to pull, has pulled all over the Midwest in the United States and all over Canada. He is a man and a true gentleman, loves to pull, knows inside and out about two-wheel truck division. 1968 GMC 520 or 572 cubic inch row deck engine. Develops up to 2,000 horsepower. Our mark to beat was put in by the Wakshinsky brothers out of Winnipeg, Manitoba with Rambo. We are going to see right now if our Quaker State-sponsored Desperado will pull further than a 258.10. He started. And there it is. We've got a green flag. Jimmy Carter's going to throw 2,000 horses and a 572. Yes! What a pull by Jimmy Carter and Desperado! Man, that's what you call an experienced puller. 275.86 will be our champion of the truck division two-wheel drive. How about a big round of applause for Jimmy Carter, the vice president of the Manitoba Truck and Tractor Association. Well done. Did you enjoy that division? How about a big round of applause for all our truck pullers here this afternoon? Wakshinsky brothers of Winnipeg, Manitoba. That's Ed Wakshinsky and the Sodbuster. 1,000 horses. 2 440 Chryslers, alcohol injected. Oh, is he ready? Is he ready? You bet he is. Now remember, he is the first puller in this class. The first puller in this class, so there may be some adjustments on the sled. We'll just have to see what happens as he backs her up. Man, you can feel the adrenaline running, coursing through the veins of our pullers as they watch the power. Every one of them enjoys each other's class. They all watch very closely from start to finish to see if there's any soft spots on the track. They're going to be running a new track position here. This is our open modified class, and this is the Sod Buster. 1,000 horsepower. Watch the flag, man. When that green is go, driver knows that all is clear. We are set. There's the green. Eddie, bring that Sod Buster home. 1,000 horses on 2 440 Chryslers. Flag is up for Ed Wakshinsky of Winnipeg, Manitoba with the Sod Buster. Ladies and gentlemen, he can hear you now. How about a round of applause for Eddie Wakshinsky, Winnipeg, Manitoba, our driver of the Sod Buster. We have our laser lady taking a reading. Distance will be
19.16, 219.16.
219.16 will be the pull for the Sod Buster. You want to watch some power? Watch these 4 Chevy 454s dive into action. They are alcohol injected. Chevy motors, Crowler clutches, 3 of them, Miller transmission, John Deere skidder differential. Sponsored by Wakshinsky Brothers along with Mid-Canada Truck, international truck dealer in Winnipeg, Manitoba. This is the Colonel, open modified. Tractor pulling in Austin, Manitoba, the Manitoba Truck and Tractor Association here in full force. Look at that, look at that. 1,600 plus horsepower, 454s. I know many of you have hit the pedal on one 454. Maybe even some of you have done it on bigger engines, but never 4 of them. We're going to watch right now as Eddie backs it in. Oh yeah, we're looking for a full pull. Will we get it? Ed's going to give us his best shot. Now watch our flagman. Dave Miller will give the green when all is clear. He will not give that green flag. That is the only thing our driver is concerned about, is what Dave Miller is doing. When he sees green, down comes the throttles and open it up. 454s. Alcohol injected engines. 1,600 plus horsepower. Ed Wachczynski and the Colonel are about ready for a green flag. There it is. Now he's going to open it up when he feels necessary. He watched Jimmy Carter eat this track up. Whoa! Yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! What a pull for the Colonel and Eddie Wachczynski of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Wow. I mean, wow. You want to have power? Man, 454. Over 1,600 cubic inches went to work and gave him a full pull. We're going to go to Wendy right now.
326.40.
326 feet, .40. 326.40 for the Colonel and Ed Wachczynski. Ladies and gentlemen, it has come down to our open modified division final competitor, the Randy Canadian Special. This is in our 7,200 modified, unlimited modified division. He enters both. Built in 1985 using 2 Oxstag Allison airplane engines of World War II, he custom built one of the only powerful and most powerful tractors in North America. He develops more horsepower than any other puller in this world. 6,000 horsepower. That's what we're looking at. He's going to be firing up and coming into our infield in our unlimited modified, open modified division. The Randy Canadian Special is going to have to do better than a full pull. He is going to have to move past 326.40 feet. Here he is. This is a Randy Canadian Special. Oh, doesn't 6,000 horsepower sound pretty? That is enough to take a 737 off the ground. Right there, 6,000 horsepower. 2 Oxstag Allison airplane engines from the end of the war, the 1940s. Backing them in. Trying to keep them firing. I think Bill has just landed. We're about ready. Ooh, Bill Drake, watch yourself. You're on the runway, my man. You're on the runway. Here he comes. The Randy Canadian Special. The Allison Oxstag 6,000. Watch for the green flag. You won't see that green flag until the hook has been made and the thumbs up, clear signal has been given. Fires again. Ladies and gentlemen, the Randy Canadian Special, 6,000 horsepower, is firing now. I believe he is ready to go. Dave Miller will be given the high sign with the green flag. There it is. What a pull! What a a pull for the Randy Canadian Special and Mr. Bill Lawrence. He's gonna unhook. We really don't have to talk to Wendy McCausland, but we're just gonna get that for the record.
379.21, 379.
And 79 feet, .21. Our champion of the open modified division, ladies and gentlemen, Bill Lawrence, the Manitoba Truck and Tractor Pulling Association president. How about a big round of applause for all our pullers from start to finish? It has been a pleasure to be here this afternoon. Don't forget, the pullers invite you down into the infield area to have a closer look at any of the trucks or tractors on behalf of the Manitoba Truck and Tractor Pullers here this afternoon. And the Manitoba Agricultural Museum, the Freshman's Reunion, thank you for coming out.